Tom Nelson here from the Outdoor Line with our in-studio guest today, John Martinez, and of course Rob Owensley. And one of the topics we talked about today on the show, guys, was the fact that we're in this La Nina winter. We've got less rainfall. We got some low and clear rivers. Looks like those are the conditions we're going to be dealing with for the next few days.
What a great opportunity for the December time period where you have very few times to fish. You know, most of the time the rivers are out of shape, and it's in shape every single day of the week. Yeah, I tell you what, it couldn't be greater for the guy, especially, let's take a guy from Boeing or a teacher, someone who's going to have a week or 10 days off, and they're going to be able to fish every single day of their day off. What a great opportunity to go steelheading, especially on some of the bigger rivers like the Cowlitz, which is in shape most of the time, but more importantly, some of the local big rivers like the Skykomish.
Well, and there's been some steelhead on the North Peak. They haven't been red hot, but there's been a few steelhead showing up. You mentioned the Cowlitz. Cowlitz has been producing really good numbers of steelhead. The coast, the Hoh River, the Bogoshiel River, the salmon off the Queets has been good. The Hump Tulips is getting fish. The Wainuchi. Guys have some options right now. And you know what else is going on? The Satsup's kicking out a bunch of cohos still. And so is the Hump. I mean, really late coho run. But back to the steelhead run and how that's going. You know, we got low clear water conditions. One of the things you talked about, John, is just dropping down the size of your offering, going with small jigs, maybe little yarnies, tiny little corkies. We actually had a caller during the show. Ryan called in. He's on the Skykomish this morning. He's actually listening on his cell phone this morning while he's fishing. He's like, God, you know, John, I heard you talk about dropping the size of my gear down. I went down to a 16th ounce jig, a little bit of prawn meat, and I caught a fish. And it worked out really well, you know.
Hey, you know what we forgot to talk about on the show? We were talking about 4 to 6 foot leaders, but we forgot to talk about the type of leader. You know, I wasn't a fan of fluorocarbon for a long time, but it's really improved. And 8-pound fluorocarbon now has really, really good knot strength. P-line fluorocarbon is so good. I've been using it, and I'm telling you what, I'm really impressed. Do not be afraid to use 8-pound test. 8-pound test. It doesn't sound very big. It sounds like trout stuff, but trust me, it's steelhead stuff, especially for low clear conditions. You have to use it.
Well, I just fished the Bogoshiel River with guide Bill Meyer from Anglers Guide Service. We were fishing 10-pound fluorocarbon with jigs, and I don't think we would have got bit if we weren't fishing fluorocarbon. I mean, that stuff is just crystal clear underwater, and it gives you an advantage. And of course, you want to use a light rod like this one we just gave away on the show. This is a Lamiglas XMG 50. We just gave this away to Aaron. Well, where's he from? Down in Des Moines or Fairway or somewhere?
He's a South Sound guy, but you bring up a great point with the fluorocarbon. That's got a really hard finish. It's got some really good abrasion resistant, but it's nearly invisible underwater. And that's one of the things, low clear water conditions, it's not only about where you fish, but it's really, really about what you fish in the river system.
You know what's interesting? You know, we talk about, and sometimes we forget about some of the fine points of fishing, like fluorocarbon, or just wetting your knots with fluorocarbon. All these little things, because once you get the fish on the end of the hook, he's got to get to the shore somewhere or another. And so, you know, you want to wet your knots, pull them together real slow with fluorocarbon, and it's going to hold up really, really good. Fluorocarbon is not what it was 5 years ago. It is really good stuff. I highly recommend it.
That P-line's good. I like Seagar. And of course, you got to use maybe a little softer rod. Your old stiff drift rod may not work.
Yes.
You got to cushion that lighter line. What about wearing? You guys wear a special hat when you go out fishing? You guys wear Nelly? I mean, you got like a wig you wear. You got
standard baseball cap lid. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh boy.
You got the beaver hat going over there. Go to our fish reports page.
It's cold, man.
Check out the bling.
Keep my noodle
Bling
warm.
bling.
You know?
Is that the title? Bling bling's the title of the report. I thought you were talking about your hat, but no, you're really referring to the chrome steelhead you got.
You know something? During the radio show, I hate to admit it, but you know, I have the Elmer Fudd hat with the flaps, and I fish it with the flaps down. You know, it kind of looks a little old school. So
we're steelhead fishing, though. It isn't a fashion contest.
It's all about staying warm.
It is. Winter time. It's a great time to be out there right now. We're talking about steelhead. There's steelhead around right now. The coast, the Cowlitz, the Wainuchi, the Skykomish is producing a few fish. Good time to be out there. Tom?
To sum it up real quick, when you have high water, fish high in the river systems, you got low water right now, we're concentrating on the lower parts of our systems.
Keep dropping down, keep lengthening the leaders up, and go to small corkies and number 4 hooks. Number 4 red hooks, 8-pound test leader, and you're going to be in the ball game.
I might just keep this rod. I don't know, Aaron. You
probably should.
You might not get this rod.
We should probably shut the camera off.
That's a beautiful rod.
That's the last cast from the Outdoor Line here on Saturday, December 17th. We'll see you next week, and thanks for tuning in.